That reminded me of the time when I saw you on the road and you were like, boop, and you were on the phone with your mom and you told her what you did.
My mom was
And you was what?
So one time, this was, a few months ago, really, wasn't it?
It wasn't that long ago.
They drove beside me. Him and Gentry drove beside me in Jessup. And I saw him and I was like, woo. I flashed him. But my mom was on speakerphone. And I'm laughing. And she don't know what I did. She goes, let me guess, is Tony there? I was like, yeah, I just flashed him and Gentry. She goes, why? You're creepy. She's like, why would you do it? I'm like, it's Tony. I don't know. I about did it again the other day, and I forgot y'all don't have that Dodge anymore.
Wait, what?
Remember that Dodge Durango y'all had?
Yeah.
I forgot y'all didn't have it, and I started speeding up to go do it.
Dude, we haven't had that car in like a few years.
I know.
You were about to.
I was about to.
You were about to just flash some random verse.
Because they also had like a disabled tag. So I thought it was you.
Some random disabled veterans like, what in the world?
What in tarnation?
Oh,
Man, that would have been funny.
oh gosh.
I'm glad I didn't though.
Oh man.
That's really how we're starting this off?
Apparently so.
I guess so, as long as it's okay with you.
I didn't show nothing.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you did to me.
He thought it was funny.
He did. He laughed. He's never even mentioned it again.
Yeah.
He has.
I knew y'all thought it was funny.
Actually, to be honest, I'm not even sure he saw it. Come to think of it.
Probably not. He's short.
Yeah, I think he was excited to see you, so he saw you, and then he looked at me because he was excited,
And probably was
and as he
laughing
was
because
looking
we were
away,
laughing.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I
that's
got you.
exact. Yeah,
That sounds about right.
that's no. If now that you say that, him laughing because we were laughing, that's exactly what happened. You know what? Let's just go ahead and kick this off. So we're in October. And so we're starting, like today, some stuff that we're scared of or whatever.
Spooky season.
Say that again.
Spooky season.
Okay. So
I'm kind of scared of that.
it's a little, yeah.
If I heard you,
You've seen nothing yet.
Dude, if I heard in the dark of a dark room, spooky season, I'd be. Oh.
That reminds me of the hobo story, though. We got to tell that tonight. That was funny. That scared me.
That's what he did.
We thought you got kidnapped.
Do I know this?
Yeah, this
You were there, Tony.
was
It's
when
the
you
night you broke my TV.
Yeah, when he moved in.
Oh yeah, the
January-
dude.
Yeah, January
well, he
the
wasn't really
20th.
a hobo. It was just
No, he wasn't. But
that's
it's
why.
the funny
That's
thing.
why I was confused. I was
Well,
thinking
here's
of
the thing.
someone's homeless.
Ken had just got done talking about the hobos.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want me to start out with that, or did you?
No, let's get to that later. So we're talking about Gentry, and Gentry honestly could answer this, and so could Rachel. Like, I really don't get scared. Well, I mean, I can
Unless
be.
you're
I
at
can
Mexican
be.
restaurants.
Hold on, no, I can be startled, but scared. Like I'm truthfully not scared of like anything, except I realized and learned something very recently that I'm scared of. Declan just walking off.
Oh, out of the house.
No.
Just in
Okay,
general.
so you may not know this story. So Declan, for those watching, I have a 5-year-old, profoundly autistic son who's wonderful, but he has his shticks, and one of them is he'll just walk away from you, and it's like he's the fastest, slowest kid on the planet.
Right.
Like, he's so slow moving, but like, it's what it is. I've noticed his brain doesn't know how to stop intrusive thoughts. Wow. So the moment that intrusive thought hits, it happens. Like, he just goes.
Yep.
So we're at church. That Josh was there. He remembers. This was like probably 3-4 months ago. Church was over. We're getting ready to go. Everyone's in the foyer talking, hanging out. Oh, that's, you know what? That's why you don't remember, because you don't hang out after church.
Oh, shots fired.
I got stuff to do.
Will I go to lunch?
No.
But
go
yet
home.
you complain nobody ever invites you anywhere and
man,
wants to
weird.
do
I gotta
anything.
drive-
That's where all
Kenneth.
the inviting happens.
I got to drop
Right.
the money off at the bank. I got stuff to do.
Okay, well, you can do that afterwards. There ain't nobody
That's like
stopping
an
you.
en route thing.
Right.
Carry on with your story.
He can't handle the truth, Tony. He can't handle the truth. That's how you
So-
build relationships too, Ken.
Where were
Okay.
you at?
Moving
With
on.
people, that's how you build relationships.
So it's after church and we're all hanging out. He was with me and I was sitting in that red chair that's in the front of our church. The Santa chair, I like to call it. I was sitting in the Santa chair and he was doing what he always does, which is either sit in front of the front door or just laying in front of the front door. He does it every single Sunday. Excuse me. And I very briefly got distracted because somebody asked me a question or something, and I was talking to someone very briefly. And I looked down, and Declan's gone.
Don't tell me you went outside.
Sorry. Retrace those steps. Rachel looked down and saw Declan was gone. And I hear, Tony, where's Declan? And then I look down and see he's gone. And instant fear. Instant fear.
Oh gosh.
Because where our church,
Road.
our church is located off a major highway,
And
he's got no sense of danger.
right.
He doesn't know any of this.
I'm not even his parent, and I went running
Dude,
down
Think
to
about
the
it. You
other
got
side.
highway, road, railroad station, and pretty much a pond.
Yeah,
That was when I could run.
all sorts of danger around us.
Yep.
And so, freaking out, dude. Freaking out. I ran around the church. Josh ran around the church.
That was when I could run.
That's when, yeah, that's right. Poor little Tink Tink. But people are going crazy looking for this kid, and we found him lying on the floor in the office. Or no, he was in the bathroom.
He was in pastor's bathroom. Yeah.
He was in the
I remember
pastor
that. Yeah,
bathroom.
I remember
Oh, so
that.
you were there?
I was, and I was looking for him. I was outside looking for him.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I told y'all when I came outside. I think that's what
Yeah.
it was.
Dude,
Y'all were getting ready to
I
leave.
cried.
I bet.
I cried. I felt horrible. Like, and even Rachel, like, she couldn't be mad at me because of how bad she could tell that I
mean,
was
it
just
happened.
distraught
It
and
happens.
felt terrible. Dude, there's something different though.
And it doesn't help.
Like, you
that
fear
Right.
for your kids, right?
It doesn't help that he's nonverbal either.
Right.
Right.
That's
so
that's
like
the even scarier part.
I love all my kids equally, but I love all my kids differently. It's a way I tell people. And there's just something different about a kid who doesn't really know what's going on, what's around him, what's dangerous. None of that.
Complete innocence.
Like the thought of something happening to him just kills me. Sorry, unalives me. But it like, dude, so that's my biggest fear is Declan. It's called eloping. Declan eloping, and us not finding him.
Yeah, that's scary.
Dude, terrifying.
Very scary.
Got real serious. What's your biggest fear, Josh?
Dang.
You were
deep.
hoping to, dude.
That got
I can't.
deep quick.
Ken has to go last because he's got he's probably got the best one.
Honestly.
Mine sound dumb when it comes to that. Compared to that.
Well, honestly,
But yours
'Cause
are
I've
funny
got-
to talk about.
But I've got dumb reasons for mine. But go ahead.
I don't fear a lot of things, but I think probably my greatest fear was and still is losing a parent and not being able to get there and knowing that I'm not able to get there. Like that was always a fear of mine, like in my late teen to early 20s. Like that was always something I was like, God, what will I ever do? Like, what am I, like, what would I do if I can't get there? How am I going to do that?
yeah.
And I was an hour and a half away and it still happened. So, so that has kind of tamed down a little bit, but honestly, that's still one of my things.
Kid's like, these guys, dude, man.
Dude, y'all got legit fears? Like mine's...
What is it, spider skin?
No.
It is better than that.
Okay.
It is better than that.
The ocean.
Viable fear.
Because I got more to talk about on the second one. But the ocean. Jaws screwed that up for me. Terrifying movie. But it's so... it's the unknown. There's no telling what's in the ocean that we haven't discovered yet.
We know more about space than we do the ocean.
Dude, the
That is
ocean
very true.
terrifies me. And especially this murky water here. I don't get in the water.
Yeah, I did notice that about Georgia beaches. The water is very, very, very dirty.
I finally went to the water a couple years ago, and that was at the Bahamas because I could see.
Now, their water's crystal clear. You know, up until a couple of years ago, though, Myrtle Beach's water wasn't the greatest, but now they've got nice water there now. I'm like,
I went there last year. It was still, I mean, it's better than here.
oh, it's way better than here.
But
There's
it's
no
not.
denying it's better than here.
But it wasn't like,
I mean, it's
Clear.
not clear, but it's not
it was
like
better than
here.
here, though.
It
Here-
doesn't look like the whole swamp's just washed into the ocean.
That's what it looks like here.
It'd be cool to go down to that area in Florida where you could see the manatees.
My uncle actually lives somewhere. I can't remember. I think is it Destin or something?
yeah, yep,
Destin's
that's
good.
it.
I wanna
I
go
have
there.
an uncle. I have an uncle that lives there, and like the sand apparently is white, and the water is just nice.
We want to go there. We just haven't gone yet. I would get in that water. Probably waist deep. But I ain't going to go any further because of sharks, jellyfish.
I will say I used to have the fear of swimming pool sharks.
Swimming pool sharks.
You don't
Wait.
you don't ever like the deep end of a big pool. You never had the fear of what if there's a shark at the bottom?
No, it's a swimming pool. Now a
Right.
snake.
Dude.
Now a snake or an alligator.
Now
Oh,
that
it's because you grew up around this area, but you know what I'm talking about, right? No, oh, really?
no, I'm
Who
Nobody
thought
now
had
if
that?
we're talking about like
an actual
I guess.
shark in the
Yeah,
pool?
yeah, dude. When you're a kid, you're dumb, dude. You don't know these things,
Wow.
dude. I'm talking about little, like 4 years old, 3-4 years old.
Well,
Yeah, no.
Okay. That
Even
makes
then,
more
no.
sense. But no, I've never.
Little. I couldn't help myself, dude. My intrusive thoughts.
No.
now if we're talking about dumb, I
snakes
guess
and alligators,
dumb
yes.
fears, snakes is one of my that
Dude, I feel
I
like
can't stand a snake. I don't know that I'm scared of it, but I can't stand them.
that's the minister in you.
But yet people think that we handle snakes.
Dude, you know how many times I've talked to people about
'Cause I'm
church,
a-
and they're like, "Do y'all play with snakes?" No.
And here's my response.
Almost every time I mention the P word, Pentecostal,
Pentecostal.
dude. Every time.
And,
Like, no, we're not
And here's
insane.
my thing. No, we're not like that. Because here's what I tell everybody: if we were handling snakes, I sure would not be there. Because
Find
I
a different
believe that
church.
God has given us common sense,
Exactly. I don't know. how
not to tempt something that is venomous.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just can't. That's a whole different podcast. I can't even get into that. Don't want to get into that.
You guys see that documentary of the guy that got bit in the face?
Yes.
You see that at all?
Was he the church guy?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was the son of a dad who passed away from a snake bite.
Yeah.
And then he got bit in the face and almost died from it.
Well, here's
And
my
he's back to handling snakes.
well. Here's my thing. If you go,
Do we need to open this can right now, or should we save
I
it?
think we need to save
Should we-
this one. I think we need to save that because But on a real level, I can't stand a snake. I just cannot stand a snake.
Well,
They creep me out. Actually, that's one thing that does creep me out. I guess that's more of a creepy.
Yeah,
creepy
that's what
outie.
today's for.
Yeah, that's more of a creep out kind of
Snakes?
thing than a fear.
Okay.
you want me to tell my other fear?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you think it's funny. I've got several reasons for this one,
They're not bad reasons,
dude.
They're not bad reasons.
bad reasons.
Go ahead.
Being out in the woods, dude. No, listen. I've got stories. The reason why I'm so scared of it, I watch a lot of YouTube. Okay. I firmly believe that there are feral people that live in the woods. And psychopaths. Dude, you watched that video I sent you a couple weeks ago. Why are you trying not to laugh? What's so funny about it? Okay, let me explain it. I'll send you the video later. I've got this this YouTube channel. I don't remember the name of it, but it's all horror stories that have happened in the forest, right? What? Look at him.
I know, dude. He's really trying.
It's legit. Anyway, so there's been people
Pull it
that
together, Josh.
Huh?
I told him to pull it together.
Oh, so there's been people that have gone in the woods. These videos, like they record themselves camping, and then all of a sudden people are where they're at. It's insane.
Yeah, I will
scary.
say the video he sent me.
Nothing's more scary
Like,
than a human. Another
Now,
human.
I will say this. Those people that do that and don't take proper protection
That's insane.
are stupid.
Like, remember that guy was camping. There was this guy camping in one of those weird tents that only cover your body. It's basically a sleeping bag.
yeah, it's like the part that props up
Right,
goes
right.
over your chest and head, but the rest
That
is
makes
like
no sense to me.
Yeah.
at all.
This dude was in the woods, already heard people talking, pitch black, no lights at all. Decided to go to bed. He hears them getting closer to his tent. Tries to call out to him. I don't know why, because he's in a tent. I would have got out the tent. Finally, they get close enough to where they're messing with his tent. He's like, I've got a knife. I got a knife. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? Saying it out loud.
yeah.
And he's all tangled up because he's in one of these stupid tents. And they kind of run off. But they start chasing him through the woods. And there's multiple stories I've watched on this. There was another one.
That is creepy. I agree.
I mean,
it's creepy.
that is creepy. but-
Creepy.
The middle of the woods, middle of nowhere.
Then there was another one. This guy was recording himself, going through the woods at night. All of a sudden, he's like not really talking. You can just hear him walking through there. But then all of a sudden you hear, I can see you. You think it's funny, but this is true stories. I'm going to send them to you. See if you want to go out in the woods. What do you think's so funny about it? I want to know. Like, he's like really trying not to laugh.
I think he
it's
wasn't expecting that. I can see you.
Yeah, that's actually that got me that time. But I'm sitting here, you dress like a whole redneck lumberjack right now, and you
Dress for the woods.
Right.
Terrified of him. Terrified.
I go hunting and stuff too. I'm not afraid in the daylight,
Right.
but I'm not gonna go off. I don't believe in going off in the woods by yourself.
Yeah, that's silly.
Oh no, that's stupid.
Even
Yeah.
if you're hunting like on your own property or something, I think that's dumb because you never know when you break your foot, slip on some wet grass,
Yeah.
we had to bring that up again.
or get shot. You never know. You never
That
know
is
what
true.
can happen.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's I agree with Tony. It's valid.
So
stuff,
I
but-
never go hunting by myself. I always go with somebody.
right.
But I'm not going to stay in the woods by myself, like camping. You can forget it. You can absolutely forget it. It'll be a group. Yeah. And then, let me tell you what happened to me last time I went hunting.
Oh, this is a good story.
Scared the crap out of me. So I went with Charles hunting, right? This was
Shout out Charles. What's up, dude?
Yeah, I told him I was going to be telling this story. This was not last year, but the year before. We went out, and this was during the day. He put me in this tree stand that was probably 20 feet up. Pretty high up. Felt like it because I'm not used to tree stands that much. And he went off somewhere else. I was ready to leave real quick. I'm not saying I believe in Bigfoot at all, but I was a believer this day. Okay, we wasn't even there. Maybe 20 minutes. Right. I'm sitting in my tree stand. Let me just set the mood for you. Okay, peaceful day. When I go hunting, I like to pray. Okay, it's the most peaceful thing because there's nothing but nature.
Yep.
You just hear the animals, whatever. Not this day. Dead silent. You know what they say when it's quiet, when animals, you can't hear any animals.
Yeah.
There's a predator around, right? So I'm sitting in this tree stand, and I kid you not, it was dead quiet. And then from a little distance away, up higher than me, I hear, I don't know if that picked up in the mic. I'm sure it did. I know y'all think I'm making this up, but
Are you sure it wasn't Charles?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. It was way up in a tree, like at the top of a tree. And he had taken the truck and went somewhere else. I know for a fact it wasn't him because I ended up texting him. We left. But anyway, so I hear that thing. I'm scared, okay?
Hey, what was the sound again?
It sounded like a grown man screaming. So y'all know do y'all know what a panther sounds like?
Yes, I've had that experience.
It sounds like a woman screaming like she's getting murdered.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I've never
I'll have
heard
to
that
tell
before.
that story in a minute. Yeah.
It's very scary.
Oh, I've never heard that at all.
It sounds like a woman screaming. Like she's getting stabbed.
It's
Oh,
really
gosh.
creepy, dude.
So my mind was like, that didn't sound like a woman. But maybe it's a panther. So that's enough to be scared. Anyway.
That ain't
True.
That wasn't a panther you heard, son.
It sounded like a man screaming.
He said a grown man.
But it did. So here's the weird part. At first, I'm like, okay, it's probably not a panther because it doesn't sound like a woman. It could be a person, but I know for sure it wasn't a person because I heard it from up top, but then I heard it again coming down. And I heard it again, running away, but I didn't hear any footsteps or anything. So I'm like, is it some kind of weird bird? Like there was no.
I ain't never heard a bird sound
I
like
know.
that.
Like a mockingjay from the Hunger Games.
I don't know what it was. Regardless of what it was. That's what it sounded like. I'm not making this
What was
up.
that SpongeBob episode with the caveman? He said, or whatever he did.
You know how quick I grabbed my pistol?
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I grabbed my pistol because I'm like, the little rifle ain't going to do nothing.
Pew pew.
Because I can't aim it fast enough. And then I text Charles. And Charles was ready to leave anyway because he wasn't here long. We wasn't there long, but he had scared off a deer, and the deer started making noises and warning all the other people, or the other deer in the area.
I mean, is Snow White just chilling out in the woods too?
No, have you ever heard the noise a deer makes if they know you're there? Probably not. It's like
Isn't it like a honking sound?
Yeah.
Kind
it's
of.
a weird noise. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, he had done that. He had scared a deer off, so he's like, "Well, I'm done. It's not going to happen tonight." So we ended up leaving, but I told him that story. I don't know what that thing was, but I was convinced that day that Bigfoot was real. It was either Bigfoot or some kind of panther that sounded like a man. I don't know what it was. I still don't know. I looked over the internet, couldn't find anything that matched that noise.
Kim was up. This was research for him.
It
He
was.
trying to
I
figure
looked
this
up
out.
the panther.
12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night, sitting there.
Dude, you talk about scared.
Hey,
now, if
Siri.
that would have been at night,
You would have.
no.
You
No.
would have died
No.
right there.
But also, have you ever heard of Tony? I've told you about this, but I don't think you. Okay. National Forest.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it.
There's been countless, which is understandable, countless missing persons reports, right? But an unnatural amount. I think people are killing them.
Feral. He thinks feral people
I do.
I see.
are killing
I
him.
see.
I do. I think so. Not always. I mean, there's going to be people who slip on wet grass and just die out in the woods.
I mean,
Or
inevitably.
people who fall off canyons. But there was another story. These two campers came across some two other people. This was in that video. I think I sent you this one. They were out camping by themselves in the mountains somewhere, and while they were cooking their supper, these two other guys came up, and they just figured they were campers too. They were like, "Hey, how you doing? We're camping here. Is this okay?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's fine." Blah blah. Well, they got an uneasy feeling about them, and a little while into the night, they started hearing gunshots and yelling and stuff like that, and they got freaked out. So they left. They hightailed it out of there and waited in the woods somewhere. When they went back the next morning, there was bullet holes and everything all in their tent. Just crazy people in the woods. So yeah, That pretty much sums up my
Your fear?
the woods.
Well, you were talking about the panther. I remember, and it was creepy as a 13-year-old because up until that point, I'd never heard what a panther sounded like. So we used to, as a district, we would do a district youth camping trip every year. And we had this area reserved, whatever, had the cabins, whatnot. But the thing was, is if you had to go to the bathroom, you had to walk through the dark woods to go to the bathroom.
Nope. Find me a bottle.
So, I made my brother go with me because he 6'4",
There you go.
6'4", 250 pound. He solid security guard, but legit, it sounded like a woman.
Dude, he got all the genes, didn't he?
I don't know if I should explain.
Strong
No,
bones.
my brother's adopted. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
However,
Thanks for ruining my joke.
Yeah, I know. I somehow fell between my mom and dad. My dad's almost 6 foot, so I don't know what happened. I got the in between, but nonetheless, so took him with me, and it legit, I thought a woman was being killed in the woods, and we heard it multiple times. And I looked at him. I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Just hurry, use the bathroom." So we can, and like all through the night, we heard it consistently. And luckily, one of the youth leaders that were there, he was like, "Yeah, no."
Dude, I think the devil gave panthers that power.
I don't know, but it put the
It's
fear
so-
of God
Because
in-
it'll
really
make
is.
people want to go investigate.
You need to look it up later.
like
I might.
It's like
It
a lore.
I was gonna say,
honestly-
it's like a lore,
Let's
right?
go save
It's
her.
yeah, like
And get
someone, there's a
mauled up.
lady out there that needs help, and then this panther just pounces on you. Guess what? You're dead.
It sounds terrifying.
it
I mean,
really like, and it was all through the night. We heard it too.
I
so-
will say,
Uh-uh.
I don't scare easy at all. However, if I heard what sounded like a woman scream off in the woods, wilderness somewhere, I'd be a little creeped out.
The woods are creepy.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'd be a
scare me.
little creeped
It was just very creepy because it was the middle of the night, no lights except the flashlight. Because that was, if there's any teenagers listening, this is before we had flashlights on our phone.
The phone flashlights still aren't even like.
And we have flip phones at that point. Long time ago, long time.
PCS.
The audio box. Anyways, flashlight, whatever, like had nothing. Couldn't see around. So it's a wonder me and my brother really did not get
Wow.
molded over by this little panther.
Well, my creepy stories didn't start off creepy. Like at the time, I wasn't creeped out.
Right.
When I look back now, I'm like, whoa, I got into some stuff.
Where
Now that
are
I'm
you
saved.
about
Now that
Oh,
I'm
he's
saved.
about to pull out the Ouija board and everything,
to go? Oh,
dude.
don't tell me you got a Ouija
So
board
there
story.
are. Okay, I have one Ouija board story,
As do
but I'll
I.
get to that. That was. Oh, you know what?
Nope.
I'll go ahead and tell that. I was the one moving the piece.
Oh, just messing with people?
Yo, yeah,
You hateful.
absolutely. But I was mean about it. I was real, dude. I was like borderline evil about it because like I convinced this one girl that she was talking to her dead boyfriend.
What's wrong
Now
with
that's
you?
horrible.
I told you, dude. I was mean about
God
it.
almighty.
I know. I was an awful human being. So,
Use something evil to just make
Yep.
more evil.
Make more
Yeah.
evil.
Like, what?
yep, because I thought it was
Just
funny.
hateful.
Because I thought it was funny. That's right. I was not a good person before y'all knew me. For real. Well, that was also teenage me too. So like,
Yeah, but teenage me was never that cruel. Dang.
is what
Well,
it
Tony
is.
was.
I mean, I told you guys about the guitar playing and how I was like stealing friends' girlfriends and stuff like that too. Like,
I feel like
I was not a good human when I was around those
I feel like
ages.
Ken was the goody two shoes of the group. I'm in the middle, and you were just.
I feel like
the
you
wor-
were up until your like young adult years. No? Okay, never mind.
No.
Never mind. We haven't talked much
I
about
mean,
it though, so I really haven't had a
No,
chance to.
no. I will say I did live more of a holy life in those days, but I still,
okay.
I still was not a, what not
Yeah,
good,
PKs,
good,
PKs are known for that.
good person. I feel like Ken was just the good one of the group.
For the most part.
Yeah, but Tony,
So.
I know some
You're the
stories
worst.
about Ken.
I do too. I wonder if we're thinking of one of the same ones.
Perhaps. I don't know.
You
Anywho.
gonna cut that?
Well, I didn't bring anything up.
Nope.
Anyway,
So, you're better now.
yeah,
Everything's fine.
always been good.
We're fine. We're okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So, there are times in my life, and now I firmly believe that it's the Lord like working in me a little bit.
See, he's doing the laughing thing again.
I don't understand.
I think it's too late for you.
Yeah,
no,
he's
no. I'm
slap-happy,
laughing.
dude.
Never mind.
It's after midnight.
It'll be all right.
So, for instance, a friend recently, I had the sudden urge to want to call him and make sure everything was okay because I felt like something wasn't okay. Couldn't reach him all day long, and it turns out he was having a certifiably awful day, and he needed a friend. So I feel like the Lord was telling me, like, this guy needs a friend. You need to hit him up. And I really firmly believe that. Back in the day, before I was saved, I used to think I was some kind of like medium. Like I just felt things. Like I now know today that it's the Lord. But then like I thought I was someone, you know, like, because I've had those urges to do stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very good at reading a room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
We call that discernment.
Right. I've always felt like there's something there. So I used to. I've seen a palm reader a few times in my life. I did know him personally, but had my palms read lots of times, and there was a long, huge part of me that thought it was a gimmick, right? You know, they say the right things to lead you to answer the right way and do things like that. But now, because even the Bible confirms it, I believe in that stuff. I think it's real, and I think it's not good to use.
Nope.
Because you don't know what kind of doors you're opening by doing stuff like that. But he accurately would call stuff. So, real serious for a moment. I was abused as a child, not in the beating your child kind of fashion.
Right.
We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
Okay? I never met this guy. The friends that I was with never knew that about me, but he did. Just by looking at my palms. He knew that. He looked at my palms and he went, "Oh, everyone called me Stover back then. They were like, "Oh, Stover." And I went, "What?" And he pulled me to the side and he's like, "I'm not going to tell anyone else, but I know what happened to you when this old." And I was like, "Whoa."
Boom.
Dude, what? You just looked at my hands. And he's like, "It's all there." So like weird stuff, man. And he also accurately, I will say this, it's kind of funny. He accurately predicted that I would leave that life and be where I'm at now.
That's so weird.
He accurately predicted that I would eventually turn my life to Jesus.
That's weird.
He said, and he did it in like a disappointing kind of way too. He was like disappointed. He was like, "You're going to end up leaving this life, and you're gonna end up going to Jesus."
When you've got demonic influences working through you, I mean, of course, it's gonna be disappointed that.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like to hit on what you were saying, yeah, dude, it's all over. The New Testament. That's not even the Old Testament. I mean, it says it in the Old Testament, I believe, but in the New Testament, it specifically, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it says it in Galatians and Ephesians. Paul tells them you shouldn't be involved with witchcraft and all the soothsayers and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah,
like, dude. Now I will say, like you, there was one point in my life, like I look back on it and it's gonna sound dark, humorous, I guess, but it's really not meant that way.
Well, you've thought everything dark we've talked about so far is humorous, so continue, Josh.
Yeah.
But I look back on this and I laugh at how how ridiculous I looked talking to people at this time, because when my mom passed, like, I was wanting to do everything I could. Like, I was having my friends call all these psychics up and be like, can you communicate with the dead? Like, can you talk to the dead? Can you do the, and I look back on that and I giggle a little bit, just a little bit, because I realized how ridiculous I was. But at that point, like, I mean, I didn't care.
I mean, you were hurting, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't even living right at that point. So I was like, you know what? What's it going to hurt?
Right.
And I laugh because I know this sounds horrible. I'm not going to call this place's name, but just up the road a piece from us, we have one of these palm readers. And I laugh.
So every time you pass by it, you laugh.
Every time I laugh by or drive by, I laugh, because either she'll have nobody there or she'll have like one car there.
Dude, we used to pass. And
Oh, you talk about that way?
Yeah.
Dude, all my life, I was like, how are they in business?
Yeah.
Right.
It's,
She only
dude,
had-
people
And,
really.
bro, she's got a nice house too. I mean,
Yeah.
that house,
That
ain't
bill-
bad.
They got a sweet pool.
That
dude.
pool, yeah.
Have you seen the billboard? It's been there.
Oh, the billboard down,
Yeah, and
even down more
years.
down the road. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Dude, every time we pass by that house, or sorry, it hasn't happened in a long time, but when Gentry was younger, we'd pass by and he'll go, ew, that lady's evil.
Where do you even learn that from?
He questioned it. Like, he was the billboard. Right. He questioned the billboard. And we also, because he saw the billboard, we pointed out what the billboard was for when we passed by it. And we told him that stuff, it's not good, though. It's not, like, it's evil stuff. And so, like, that built into this attitude about it.
That's funny.
At least you know he'll hopefully never seek out her assistance.
I'm going to circle back real quick and talk about that palm reader friend of mine. There was a point when he talked about how I'm able to see things or feel things, and it wasn't really a communication thing. But what's really weird is I never noticed it as much until that day.
Right.
So I don't know if like floodgates opened or a little bit or something, but like I remember, and this was just a horrible idea. After that night, after he predicted that, he had the idea of let's go to a cemetery. And so we went. A group of us went to the cemetery, and that night I could see shadows moving. I could see pale figures standing around.
Bruh.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've had something similar.
This is weird.
I had a friend who claimed
I'm
to
glad
be.
I got a friend in Jesus.
I had a friend who claimed to be Wiccan or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And this friend just blatantly one day looked at me and was like, you know what? If you would just let go, you would be really good at witchcraft. Because there's something about you that you can, I guess, see and read. I had another friend.
Well, if you think about it, they're direct opposites of each other.
Right. Well, I had another friend tell me the same exact thing. Like, I believe if you would tap into it, you could be great. And we were at a graveyard that night.
Yeah.
And
What's with y'all in the
hold
graveyard?
on though. And I will say, Tony, I have never
Misfits, dude. Dig Up Her Bones. Great song.
I have
I do like
never
that song.
It's a good.
had anything happen like this before or after this experience. And so we were there, I mean, and not a stitch of wind, nothing. Like, it was dead calm. A tent that they had just buried somebody. I sat there and watched the little pulley thing bang back and forth against the metal pole. I was out at that point, because at that point I still knew who Jesus was, and I was like, I ain't turned over completely to that side.
No, sir.
But then, like, you could just feel, and this is like, you could just feel the demonic presence. Like, you could just feel something that was not. And I'm not even going to lie. I think I rode home. I don't even know what I listened to, but I know I'm not a Disney movie on. I'm just going to say a Disney movie. When I got to the house, I put a Disney movie on, and we'll go into that in another podcast, I'm sure, about some other experiences. But that specific night, like, it creeped me out so bad, because I had never put myself in such a place to be in a demonic situation like that. And like it's different when you hear about it your whole life versus when you actively experience that. And it's creepy, dude. Like it's creepy. But I look back now and I see that what I guess people were sensing was what God was trying to raise up in me as a minister. So, dude, it would.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it again.
No,
I would never
I
go
wouldn't
back.
mess with that stuff.
But
Worst
at
I
that
did
point,
in
my
the graveyard was play Pokemon Go. Y'all over there playing with spirits, trying to catch them all.
Dude, another creepy story of mine, and your witchcraft thing brought it up. I didn't think of this or write it down because I totally forgot about it until you brought up witchcraft. I used to work pest control. I did it for a year when I was done with the Army. Right, go spray for roaches and all that. I've seen some horrible places.
I can imagine.
Like I walked into an empty house once where when the lights were off, the walls were moving because there's roaches crawling all over the place.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
I'm head out.
Yep. But there's one house in particular that, and I mean I had forgotten about it until now, but I will never forget about it. I feel. So I walk in and instantly you feel the air difference. Mm-hmm. The temperature wise is about the same, but you feel like your breath gets taken away when you walk in. And so I'm in this house, and the bedrooms trashed. There's dog and cat poop everywhere. There is I wouldn't even be surprised if there was human feces all over the place. There was just trash everywhere. Everything was dingy. There's roaches all over the place. The family just congregates and hangs out in the living room together with no TV. They all, each individual, listen, 2 kids, 2 parents, they each individually had their own gaming station, and that's how they hung out as a family. Which, aside from the rest of the things, sounds kind of cool.
Right.
But with the other things, I'm watching these kids play video games actively while roaches are crawling all over them.
Nope.
And I'm telling you, like, they're crawling all over these, and these kids are so used to these bugs that they're not batting an eye. They're used to this happening. And I didn't notice this until I was about to leave. It was the last part of the house because what you do when you're just spraying for bugs is you spray the corners of the floor, right? So I walk into the house, and because I have my sprayer in my right hand, I naturally just go to the right. I go to the right, and I'm spraying the corners, and I'm walking around the right side, around the whole house. The right, just keep going to the right until I made it out of the kitchen into the dining room and noticed one wall in particular where there was shelves and a shrine to Satan.
That could explain some of the filth.
Books of witchcraft.
Yeah, no.
And there were like dead animal bones on this shrine, feathers, and just it
what are we
was
doing, living in the Old Testament?
It was the most uncomfortable I felt in a house. I've seen some nasty places.
Let me ask you something. What before you saw it or after you saw it? And I've got a reason to ask because I've got a story. Mm-hmm. Was it hard to breathe? Because you mentioned.
Oh yeah, the moment I walked in.
So
the
it
house.
had nothing to do with the filth. You just walked in. You felt the atmosphere.
The air felt heavy.
Okay, because I've got a related story.
You can definitely feel that shift in the
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
like it's like this weighed down, heavy. Like it, I don't even know how to.
Yep.
Until you experience something like that, it's hard to explain.
I know what you're saying. Like, I'll tell you after you're done. But I've got something similar.
What I ended up doing is at the end, you do the outside. You spray the windows. You spray sometimes in bad cases like this one. You also kind of spray the bottom of the bricks around houses and all that.
Right.
And so I'm spraying the outside of the house, and the whole time I'm doing the outside of the house, I'm just praying.
Absolutely.
Just praying over this house, and I'm praying specifically for the kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're not the ones who are doing it.
Yeah,
like they're being taught this. And one of them one of them, this was also a weird part. When he spoke, he wasn't speaking words. He was just making noises, like just making noises. But his mom understood. His brother understood. Like, and it was, to be honest, like now that I have like a son who's on the spectrum and all that, like, you know, it's easy to say that maybe he was autistic and they just understand his language. But no, this was like, he was not making, there was no way.
It wasn't.
There was no way. He was just making noises and they all understood what he was saying.
Oh, no.
Nope.
That's a hard no for me, dog.
Dude, I honestly, like, I put that in the back of my mind until you mentioned witchcraft. And I went, oh, I got something else to tell.
Yeah, that was something for me. Like, I honestly, I'm not even going to lie about it. I thought for a split second about letting myself just dabble a little bit in it.
Nope.
And I did do some I guess witchcraft stuff, but it wasn't like casting spells or nothing like that. I wasn't gonna go that far, but I had to realize, like, I know that I might not be living for Christ, but I still believe in him, and I know right from wrong, and I'm not gonna subject myself, and I believe that is honestly what the devil wanted. I believe wholeheartedly, because I'll say this and then I'm gonna let you take it from there. I'll never forget, there was a point that my mom, her and my dad were in their room, I guess getting ready for bed, and I remember her telling me that the devil himself tried to tell her, or I guess send a demon from hell, however you want to look at it, told her that he had my soul. And that was during this.
Nope.
That was during this time period that I was living, and the devil, I mean, pure out told my mom, I've got your son's soul. And that didn't set well.
But look where you are now.
That, let me go on and tell you, that did not set well with a Pentecostal mother. Nonetheless, she, of course, prayed and everything, and it took years. But I honestly believe now, even though I didn't want the prayers, I didn't want them praying for me, I didn't care about that, I honestly believe that those prayers are what kept me from furthering myself into the witchcraft lifestyle or demonic lifestyle. Because that's a dark place. I don't want to go there. Why you look at me like that?
I have a question, but I'll wait till after the pod is over because it's not appropriate to ask you on air.
Oh, my.
Okay, so I've never dealt with any of that. I've never played around with it, ever. Nothing like that.
Not surprised.
No. But
not at all.
Recently, within the past couple of years, I don't want to call the place out because I think it's a cool place, kind of. And I don't want to badmouth the place. But I want the atmosphere thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I felt it. So we went to somewhere near here. It's which you probably figured out, a serial killer museum. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty cool museum. It's interesting if you're into
true crime stuff like that.
Yeah. It's crazy the amount of artifacts they have.
Right.
But anyway, we went in there. The weird part is, because there's like 3 or 4 sections of this museum. They had like a whole skeleton there, real skeleton, shrunken heads. They had all kinds of stuff in there. Then you get to the top of the building, and there's like a whole. The biggest room was full of like John Wayne Gacy paintings he did, stuff like that. But the middle room had like, I don't know, they had like Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses. Was it George? No, not Jones something. Jim Jones, like the Kool-Aid packets.
Yeah.
Well, the Flavor Aid packets.
They actually had the packets that were there.
Actual packets, yeah.
They were claimed that they were actually from there, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
there's no way to prove that.
Well, everything else is legit.
Yeah. Okay.
They had
it just seems like weird to have like the drink.
They had
packets.
a lot of stuff that you were like, They even had, I don't remember his name. Is it Ed Gein?
Ed Gein.
They had like a keychain or something he had made, or a knife or something that had people's hair and skin still attached. Like they had some crazy artifacts. But what got weird, like Chastity did not like that room. She left. She's like, she's like, I'm not staying in this room. That was the most interesting room to me. But I felt I couldn't hardly breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling to breathe. And, I have asthma. I was like, maybe this is just my allergies. It was just that room though.
Right.
And I realized, I knew to the right of me there was a bunch of, because all these cults. It deals with cults and stuff too. Had a bunch of like satanic books, witchcraft books, the Book of Satan, all that kind of stuff. I didn't even go near that because I was like, I don't want that. But it was in a bookcase. But I was at this table. It was a little round table. And I was listening to some audio. I don't remember what it was. But I'm like leaning up against the table, and I'm like, I really couldn't breathe. Like I'm like struggling. Like I realized I was touching and leaning on a seance table that had been used and all that. And like,
nope.
Because everything in there,
Nope.
everything in that museum is legit. Like they've gotten from, it was wild. And then I realized that. I was like, oh crap, maybe that's what it is. Went into the next room, which was the John Wayne Gacy room. Not saying the stuff is okay.
Yeah.
Immediately could breathe normal again.
Right.
And I was like, I asked Chastity, I was like, how's your breathing? And she didn't have that issue, but she didn't stay in that room.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me tell you what's going on. And I told her, after that, like she was not comfortable in that museum. And she's a museum person.
Right.
But like she wanted to get out of there. But it was weird
I
because
would too.
It is about atmosphere. Like that whole museum, when you think about it, is nothing but evil.
Yeah.
I mean, you're learning the history of stuff if you're into true crime. It's it's cool, it's interesting. Yeah. But when you think about it, all that had to do with pure evil. And that atmosphere, there's spiritual connections to those items.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
And it's crazy because you don't know what happened with that. Like you don't know the full. You might know a brief snippet, but you don't know how far they stepped in to like. But like speaking of atmosphere, I know we gotta start wrapping up shortly, but like there was one time, I'd say probably about.
He's such a pastor. I know my time's almost up.
I'm about to land this plane.
About to land this plane. Come in for a smooth landing. But I guess it was, 2021, I'd say. We were in a revival. And for those of you that don't know what that is, really good services. Talking about being refreshed, renewed. We don't have time for that. But anyways, we were in revival. And I believe it was either the second to last night or the last night. And in our denomination, we see a lot of things, and I'll just say that there were people laid out. I was one of them, and that very rarely happens. And I remember the presence of God being so strong on me. I tried to get up, but it was like something was. I couldn't move at that point. I was so wrapped up in the presence of God. Amazing place to be, but on the contrary to that, there was somebody in that church that I had been kind of, I guess, some discernment had kicked in with this said person. And I didn't know what was going on, but I felt the Holy Spirit telling me, keep your focus on me. Don't concentrate on what's going on around you. And I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm focused. Well, this certain lady came over, and all she did was that right there, laid her hands on me, and I remember I felt like ice came over my body. It was like that environment shifted that quickly, and I remember in my head, I was like, why is she touching me? Why is she touching me? Why? Like, there was just some kind of, I'd never felt that from somebody praying for me. And that, again, the Holy Spirit reminded me, keep your focus on me. Keep your focus on me. And eventually not long after that, she pushed away. But when you're talking about atmosphere changing, that was a sudden change of the atmosphere of being in the presence of God and feeling something like I felt in that moment. Like it was weird. I never want to feel that again, but that's the importance of discernment. And
We can't just let
all that.
everybody pray for you.
I know.
You can't just shake
I've said
anybody's
that.
hand.
I've said that for years. You better be careful who you let pray for you.
I'll say that same about shaking hands too. I'm serious.
You don't know. You don't know.
I ain't scared.
I mean, I'm not scared, but
Ken will tell you, dude. Like I like watching possession movies. That stuff doesn't bother me at all.
We'll
Nope.
get into that on the next podcast.
That doesn't bother me at all, dude. So
Well,
I think it's safe. Oh, so go ahead.
It's not that it bothers me, but I'm not. If I know somebody, let me just say it like this. If I know somebody ain't living right and they come trying to pray for me, nope. I mean, I'm not going to be mean to them by all means, but I don't. How do I word this without sounding like? I'm just very careful with that kind of stuff, especially if somebody comes to me and tells me they got a word from the Lord. That word better line.
I take those with grains of salt.
Yeah, that better line up. But you think if somebody is not living right and they're praying over you, you don't know what in that moment, unless they're speaking it out loud or this, that, or you don't know really what the intentions are. Like, you just have to let your discernment kick in. I feel like that's one of those discernment situations. But
There was somebody once who told me that I needed to use the voice that I have, within the spectrum of leading praise and worship and doing things like that. Use the voice that I have to fight the powers that be. It like not in a spiritual sense, but in like a economic sense. Mm. Like, and here I am just going, and they said it was like the Lord told them to tell me that, and I'm like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't want to get involved in any of that.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not saying like I'm going to tell somebody, I'm not just going to bluntly be mean to them, but I guard myself.
Yeah.
Personally, I guess is what I'm trying to like. I guard myself. I know within myself, like I have discernment. I know that. I trust myself, and I trust the Spirit even more to lead me in that kind of situation. So I guess that's what I mean by be careful who you let pray for. Be careful what you receive, and you got to know that you know that it's from the Lord. I guess is what I'm saying.
Sometimes they're just be crazy people,
and I've had it.
Sometimes
I had a man one time at camp meeting come up to me and try to I guess. I don't want to say prophesy or say, the Lord had told him something. I listened. I had absolutely nothing to do with my life, really. I think there might have been like one small little excerpt of the whole 5 minutes we talked that may have dealt with my life. But that's yeah. You have to be careful with that. Nah.
So funny.
It is funny.
And we can share more next episode.